Hello and welcome to Take on Tech. You are rightly tuned in because we have an amazing lineup for you. Apart from the tech news that we'll be catching up on, we'll be talking about startup investments. And for this, we have Harry Henry, who's a founding partner of SVP. Let all your investors, let all your entrepreneurs, let all the startups and techies join today. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Stephanie Ayeta. In our tech news today, Microsoft Africa Development has partnered with Cyber Shujaa to improve the cybersecurity challenges in Kenya. The technological education landscape in Kenya is set for a significant transformation as 8 universities partner with Mozilla through its Responsible Computing Initiative backed by the Mozilla Foundation. The e-waste strategies are being embraced in Kenya with the aim of resource mobilization for proper e-waste management, raising awareness, strengthening Kenya's e-waste coordination structures at national and county levels.
The Microsoft Africa Development Center has partnered with Cyber Shujaa to improve the cybersecurity challenge pipeline in Kenya. Cyber Shujaa, which comprises of Seriano Limited, USIU Africa, and the Kenya Bankers Association, trains youth in cybersecurity and data protection and has already provided competency-based skills training to over 500 individuals. The 3-month program will admit the first cohort of 70 undergraduate students and 30 graduate students with less than 2 years of work experience through 8 cybersecurity modules comprising network security, application security, cloud security, incident response, security architecture, Internet of Things security, and forensics.
Let's find ways of accepting these interns as interns or as attachment students. Number 2, let's look at opportunities, even data privacy, even a manufacturing firm, you have data privacy needs. Take one of these students, allow them to work with you.
Microsoft has underscored the importance of basic security hygiene, strong partnerships, and AI innovation to combat the evolving threats and protect the digital domain.
The economic impact of cybercrime in Africa is estimated to be $10 billion in 2023, with Kenya alone potentially losing around $383 million. It therefore underscores the urgent need for substantial investments and partnerships in cybersecurity infrastructure and training.
So far, 745 individuals who have been trained under the program have secured key roles within the technology industry.
The technological education landscape in Kenya is set for a significant transformation as 8 universities partner with Mozilla through its Responsible Computing Initiative backed by the Mozilla Foundation. At an award ceremony at the University of Embu, Mozilla country lead Dr. Chao Mbogo highlighted the initiative's success, adding that the partnership marks a pivotal moment in Kenyan education, demonstrating the potential for technology to drive positive social change when coupled with a strong ethical foundation.
The Responsible Computing Challenge is supporting students to think holistically about building technology so that instead of only technical skills, they're able to implement ethical, social-cultural, as well as legal practices in their creation and innovation.
The Mozilla project came the right time when the government of Kenya, through Kenya National Innovation Agency, is pushing universities to start the program for commercial entrepreneurship and commercialization. Our university is part of this program. They're in the process of coming up with
Kenya generates over 50 metric tons of e-waste every year, with only 1% being formally recycled. The remaining 99% of the generated e-waste ends up in dump sites and waterways, causing soil, water and air pollution.
Some of the electronic devices are carcinogenic. The components are carcinogenic, that is, they predispose human beings to cancerous infection.
But in a perfect system, how is a proper e-waste management system meant to work?
Once we sensitize the disposers on the communities and we have agreed with you that we are collecting your e-waste, we have tracking documents that we share with the disposer to make sure that whatever is designated for collection is actually collected and processed. At the end of the day, once we are done with that process, we issue a certificate to confirm that these fractions and these quantities were collected and adequately recycled.
Located in Mihango, Nairobi County, the Waste Electrical and Electronics Equipment Center, one of the electronic waste recycling institutions in Kenya, collects and recycles a variety of electronic waste, including discarded computers, solar panels, home appliances, mobile phones, and other electronic accessories. The Waste Electrical and Electronics Equipment Center, through partnerships with electronic companies, has set up over 100 e-waste collection centers.
And we have worked with various stakeholders over time to create strong and stable legislative framework to support players in the field, to improve the business operation, and also to assist governments regionally.
One of the solutions being mooted to address the gap in e-waste recycling is research and development to introduce high-tech solutions such as the one used to convert old television sets to bricks for construction.
We are able to filter and get lead out and have the process solution. That process solution is what we have here. And this process solution is what we use to now make eco blocks or geo blocks. So geo blocks have been made out of the CRT glass.
Oliech hopes that state agencies will leverage on the Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2022 to sensitize the public on safe e-waste management. Alan.
Kenya, often dubbed the Silicon Savannah, is a hotbed of innovation and entrepreneurship. From fintech to agri-tech, Kenyan startups are making waves locally and globally. Kenyan startups can access various funding avenues from bootstrapping and angel investors to venture capital and grants. Each comes with its own set of opportunities and challenges. Despite the vibrant ecosystem, Kenyan startups face challenges such as regulatory hurdles, market competition, and economic fluctuations. However, with the right support, these challenges can be overcome. As the startup ecosystem in Kenya continues to evolve, the future looks promising. With increasing investor interest and a growing culture of innovation, the opportunities for funding and investing are limitless. Investors in Kenyan startups seek innovative solutions to significant problems, a strong and capable team, and clear paths to profitability. Key considerations include market potential. Investors look for startups addressing large, untapped markets with scalable business models. The growing middle class and increased digital adoption in Kenya presents ample opportunities. Product or service. A compelling product or service with a unique value proposition is essential. Investors are particularly interested in technology-driven solutions that can be adapted or expanded into other African markets. Team. A strong, experienced, and adaptable team is crucial. Investors often evaluate the founder's background, their ability to execute the business plan, and their resilience in overcoming challenges. Regulatory environment. Understanding the regulatory landscape is vital. Investors prefer startups that are compliant with local laws and have strategies to navigate regulatory challenges. Kenya has produced several successful startups, especially in the SMEs sector, that have attracted significant funding and achieved notable growth. These success stories demonstrate the potential for innovation and growth in the Kenyan market, attracting both local and international investors. While the opportunities are significant, startups in Kenya face several challenges, such as access to capital. Despite the growth of investment ecosystem, access to capital remains limited, especially for early-stage startups outside major cities like Nairobi.
You find that startups exist in different industries. They're solving different solutions for different industries: agriculture, fintech, education. So of course, there are challenges that are precise to them, but also just generally looking at one. If you speak to any entrepreneur, they'll tell you funding. You need money to move from one stage to another. But just as I mentioned, we have more organizations, private sector foundations that are coming on board to better support entrepreneurs and businesses. That would be the one challenge I think I'd like to spotlight. But again, it's a challenge that is frequently evolving and solutions are frequently being presented.
Regulatory hurdles is another challenge. Navigating regulatory environment can be complex, with laws and policies that may not always be conducive to innovation. Market competition can also be intense, particularly in sectors like fintech, where numerous players are vying for market share. When it comes to infrastructure and talent, even though Kenya has a growing pool of tech talent, there are still gaps in specialized skills. Infrastructure, such as reliable internet and power, can also be a challenge in certain areas. Harry Christian Henry, who's an entrepreneur, speaker, facilitator, and team builder, believes that it is in the best interest of startups and SMEs to be adaptable, tech-savvy, and resilient. If the momentum in the proliferation of startups is to be maintained, especially in today's fast-evolving market.
We have more confidence in SMEs in the sense that they've been around for longer. So they have the resilience and they've usually got the skill set and the workforce to actually prevail in the market. They've already proven that. And what we look for is really three things. The first one is, what's the product or service, right? The second thing is, have you got sales? So if you're a pre-sale startup, we're generally not interested, because not only do we not know whether your product is viable, we don't know whether you're viable to sell that product. And then finally, the most important thing is the entrepreneur or the entrepreneurs. We want to know whether you have the skills and the resilience to actually survive. Let's remember 95% of startups fail, right? They never make it to SME. So what's really important is that you bring the skill set as a founder team, or that you're very, very self-aware of what you can't do very well. I have a recent experience with a startup that didn't do so well, and the problem was you had people who were focusing on product, and the product was really good. The service was really good. But they had this fallacy that if only the product is good enough, someone's going to turn up and buy it, and that's not how the world works. So I kept telling them, you need to make more phone calls, you actually need to get on the phone. But there was no one who was comfortable with that, so they were just waiting for magic to happen, and no one's going to come to save you. You have to save yourself.
These traits are essential for navigating challenges and seizing opportunities, which can significantly improve the success and growth of emerging businesses.
So I love both. Let me be clear. I love both ecosystems here in Kenya. I think we don't give enough credence, we don't give enough kudos to the SME sector. Let's remember, SMEs are 40% of your national GDP, but they're actually more than 60% of employment. So if you're employed, you have a 6 out of 10 chance being employed with an SME. Right? So that's where the jobs are created, and that's where there's a huge amount of upside potential, also because a lot of the time the SMEs are not themselves in a situation where they can help themselves in terms of technological transformation, adopting AI tools, better marketing, sometimes it's something as simple as a better website, right? So if I give you 10 SME websites and I give you 1 minute to figure out what that company exactly does, I can guarantee you with half of them you cannot figure exactly out what they do. Because what the website says, we do many things. But no one ever goes on Google and Googles, find me a company that does many things. Look for the thing. And then if you do the thing well, then people want more things from you, right? So we need to lead with something. And this is something where I think when I look at the SME ecosystem here, there's a lot of potential to do good with very little effort to get them to a different level.
The future of startup funding in Kenya looks promising, with increased investor interest, government support, and a growing culture of entrepreneurship. As the ecosystem matures, there is likely to be more focus on diversifying funding sources, including more local and diaspora investors. Additionally, sectors like renewable energy, health tech, and education technology are poised for growth, offering new opportunities for investment.
In terms of the future, I think SMEs continue to be the backbone of the economy in all of East Africa. I think Nairobi has the most exciting, most interesting startup ecosystem in East Africa. I like it better than the one in Rwanda currently. I don't know as much about the Rwandan one, but I like it the best. I think the technological affinity here, especially in Gen Z, is really, really high. You have good developers, you have good technologies emerging, so very good times ahead.
For investors, Kenya offers a unique blend of innovation, market potential, and impact. As the Silicon Savannah continues to evolve, it presents a compelling opportunity to support and profit from the next generation of African entrepreneurs.
At the moment, weirdly, I hear lots of complaining about millennials and Gen Z, which I don't understand at all. I mean, everyone that I've hired here in Kenya and who's been my employee for a couple of years are between 20 and 35. They're reliable, they're highly educated, they under-promise and over-deliver, great integrity, great passion, they work really hard. So the first thing to tap into is most SMEs are led by people who never had the privilege of the degree of education that the current Gen Z has. And that in of itself, if you take the technological affinity of Gen Z and you take the level of university education they've received, you have so much untapped potential. Even if you just start out by saying, look, I'll give you a little equity in my company, or I'll give you a traineeship so you have something for a CV and I'll pay your expenses. My God, you get someone like that for 40 hours a week and you give them a clear target, let's go. That's your first potential. You need to mobilize your labor force and those brains that are here into growth.
That's it from Take on Tech. I hope you've taken some gems from that particular interview. If you're a startup or an SME, now you know what areas that you need to work on and improve on. Let us know some of the things that you've picked from this at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag #TakeOnTech. My name again is Stephanie Ayeta, and I will see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.